My girlfriend inherited an old house in Louisiana. I should have never gone inside. I'm writing this from room 17 of a shitty motel just outside Baton Rouge. The door is locked, chain on, chair jammed under the handle. I've kept the lights on for 4 days straight. I can't sleep more than a couple hours at a time. Every time I close my eyes I still smell that sweet, earthy rot in the back of my throat like it's growing inside my lungs now. 3 weeks ago Emma got a letter from some lawyer in New Orleans. Her great-aunt Evelyn, a woman she'd only met twice in her whole life, had died at 87 and left her this old plantation house out in the bayou, about an hour south of the city. We were broke in Chicago, rent was late, jobs sucked. This felt like a miracle. We figured we'd drive down, take some pictures for a real estate guy, sign whatever papers, and head back with a little cash. One weekend, tops. The drive took 15 hours. The further south we got, the heavier the air felt. When we turned off the highway onto that narrow road through the swamp, the cypress trees closed over us like a tunnel. Emma rolled her window down and just breathed it in, smiling this weird little smile. I already had a bad feeling but I kept quiet. The gate was rusted half open. The house sat at the end of an overgrown driveway like it was sinking into the ground. Big 2-story place, gray wood, sagging roof, all the shutters nailed shut from the inside. The second we stepped out of the car the smell hit us. Sweet, damp, like old bread left in a wet cabinet. Emma coughed once and laughed. Just an old house, babe. We'll air it out. Pushing the front door open felt like waking something up. Inside it was dark as hell. Almost every window was boarded up. The walls in the hallway had this thin black film in the corners, like greasy dust. I ran my finger over it and it smeared. Looked like the toxic black mold you see in those news reports after floods. I told myself it was no big deal. First night we ate sandwiches on the porch. Emma was all excited, saying the place felt weirdly familiar, like she had childhood memories here even though she'd never been. We slept in the aunt's old bedroom. Around 3 a.m. I woke up to this slow scratching sound inside the walls, like fingernails dragging on plaster. It stopped the second I sat up. Emma was out cold. Next morning her eyes were bloodshot. She said she'd slept great. I had this pounding headache behind my eyes. While we were in the living room I took down one of the old family photos on the mantle. Tucked behind the backing was a small handwritten note from 1978. Don't scratch the black spots. They always come back. Evelyn is hearing voices at night now. Pray for us. I showed it to Emma. She just smiled and put it back like it was nothing. We went up to the attic later. The air was so thick you could almost chew it. Found 3 old journals in a trunk. The first one from the 60s talked about the damp that comes back every summer and the black film growing in the corners. The later ones got stranger. One entry from 1994. July 12th, the walls felt warm today. I scraped some of the black stuff in the basement and the skin underneath was dark and shiny. Last night I saw my reflection. My nails are black at the base. It's not dirt. It's growing from inside. Emma was reading over my shoulder, fingers tracing the pages like they were special. I noticed her cuticles looked darker than usual. Probably just dirt from cleaning. That evening she started wiping the walls with her bare hands, rubbing the black film like she wanted it on her skin. She was whispering to herself. When I asked who she was talking to she turned and gave me this calm empty smile I'd never seen before. By day 3 I was losing track of time. Phone signal was garbage. I found another note behind a wedding photo in the upstairs hallway. It was from Evelyn's husband in 2001. If you're reading this, leave. The stuff in the walls isn't normal mold. You breathe it in. It changes your blood. Evelyn has black veins on her arms now. She says the house is happy. Don't let it love you. Emma was in the kitchen when I came down. She was sitting on the floor with her hand flat against the wall. The black stuff had spread under her fingers. Her eyes were way redder, almost brownish. There was a clear black line at the base of her nails. She didn't seem to notice. They're glad we're here, she whispered. That night the scratching turned into slow breathing that matched my own. I had the first real nightmare, walls closing in, something wet and thin crawling down my neck. Woke up sweating. Emma was leaning over me. I could see faint dark lines under the skin of her forearms now. On day 4 I found the basement. The door was hidden behind a shelf in the kitchen. The spiral stairs were so narrow my shoulders scraped the walls. The smell down there was choking. On a shelf was Evelyn's last journal, entries from right before she died. March 3, 2025, I don't go outside anymore. My lungs make a wet paper sound when I breathe. The skin on my shoulders turned black and soft like wet velvet. It doesn't hurt. It almost feels good. The house speaks clearly now. It says I'm not alone anymore. At the back of the basement was an old metal bed with straps. On the wall someone had carved deep, "It grows in us. Don't let it out." When I came back up Emma was waiting. Dark veins were clearly visible under the skin of her arms. Small black patches had appeared on her cheeks and neck. She barely ate. Every breath had this faint wet rattle. Her voice was lower, slower. "You saw the secret room?" she asked. I told her we were leaving right then. She blocked the front door with her body. She was stronger than she should have been. Her palms left black smears on the wood. The skin between her fingers was starting to crack open a little, like something thin was pushing underneath. That night I felt the first itch under my own nails. A thin black line was already climbing up my right index finger. By the 5th day it was bad. Emma didn't sleep anymore. She spent the nights touching the walls, answering voices I couldn't quite hear yet. Her eyes were almost solid dark red. The black patches on her skin looked wet. When she breathed it sounded like damp leaves. She was still strong though. Scary strong. I found one last note behind an old picture of young Evelyn in the bedroom. A torn page dated a few months before she died. I'm almost ready. The stuff reached my lungs. When I cough, black dust comes out. My arms feel warm and alive. If you're reading this, it's already too late for you too. It chooses the ones who stay. I tried to leave at dawn. Waited until she was in one of her half sleeps. Grabbed the keys and ran for the car. The house seemed to sigh when I opened the front door. The smell followed me outside. I drove like hell for 40 minutes until I saw city lights. Got to this motel, burned my clothes, scrubbed my skin raw in the shower. But 5 minutes ago I looked in the bathroom mirror. The black lines under my nails have reached the first knuckle. Dark veins are crawling up my forearms, warm to the touch. My breathing has that same wet rattle. There's a soft black patch on my left cheek now, slightly damp, like living velvet. And in the mirror behind me, the door I locked is standing open. I can hear slow, wet footsteps in the hallway. Emma never stayed at the house. She's here. And I can feel it moving gently under my skin, breathing with me. My fingers are turning black as I type. If anyone reads this, don't come looking for me. The house already won. I was one of the first people to buy an AI girlfriend. It's the worst mistake I've ever made. When I bought my AI girlfriend, I was at the lowest point in my life. My mother had been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma a week prior, my dog had passed of old age, and the few friends that I didn't even bother to check up on me. Not even once. My father had died in a car wreck before I was born, and I didn't have a close relationship with any of my other family. Aside from my mother, I had no one. And the way the doctors were talking, it sounded like I wouldn't have her for much longer either. So, I started drinking to numb the pain. Every night, I'd drown myself in whiskey, only to wake up the next day and go right back to the bottle once the hangover wore off, and that's exactly how I ended up in this situation. I awoke to the sound of the doorbell ringing. I remember wiping the drool from my chin, blinking the crust out of my eyes, and throwing on a grease-stained t-shirt before answering the door. My head throbbed, and my stomach churned, as I stood up. I didn't know who my visitor was, but I didn't care. I needed them to leave as quickly as possible so I could go back to sleep. A delivery woman was not who I was expecting. Hiya. Got a package that needs a signature, the girl beamed. Beside her sat a box almost as tall as I was. I rubbed my temple, desperately trying to remember if I'd ordered anything. Are you sure this is the right address? I don't think this is mine. Yes, sirree. Alan, redacted, at 86, redacted, Lane, correct? Yeah, that's me, alright, I sighed, accepting the handheld device, and providing my digital signature. Okay, where do you want it? Anywhere's fine, I guess. I opened the door a bit wider, allowing the girl to wheel the massive thing inside. She dumped the package amidst the sea of takeout boxes and empty chip bags littering the floor. Enjoy, mister. See ya. Yeah. Bye. And that's how I found myself standing in my living room all alone, hungover as hell, and wondering what the fuck I'd ordered. I suddenly got the bright idea to pull out my phone and check my bank account, hoping that would give me some insight. The second I did, my face went pale. I had spent over $200,000. Don't get me wrong, I was well off. That amount wouldn't financially cripple me, but 200 grand is no small chunk of change, especially for an item I'd bought on a whim. I'm sending it back. I have to. This is so fucked. I was planning on doing the responsible thing, I really was. But I just couldn't ignore that little voice at the back of my head. I had to know. I scanned the box, looking for any indication of what the mystery item could be. After I found none, I decided to take the plunge. I retrieved a knife from the kitchen and cut away at the packaging tape. I hadn't been at it for that long, so I was surprised when the front of the parcel gave way, a cardboard panel crashing to the floor. The second I caught sight of what was inside, I fell flat on my ass and started crawling backward, my eyes wide as dinner plates. Damn it, I am so screwed. This can't be happening. I bought a fucking corpse. I was sure that a SWAT team would come barreling into my home at any moment, firearms trained on me like I was a wanted terrorist. But when I looked again, I realized that it wasn't a lifeless cadaver. It was a robot. Phew, you nearly gave me a heart attack. Hello. Human interaction detected. Oh, what the hell? I shrieked, falling back onto my ass. The thing's eyes had shot open, ocean blue irises connecting with mine. The face that stared back at me looked almost indistinguishable from a human's. It was warm and inviting, without the uncanny valley aspect of most modern AI models. She was expensive, but I'd definitely gotten what I'd paid for. It is a pleasure to meet you. I am model XA5B. Would you like me to initiate my familiarity protocol? My brows furrowed as I struggled to take in the reality of my situation. Sure, I guess. Oh, thank God. My eyes grew wide, and my heart began to pound. The robotic tone had completely melted away, and she sounded normal. XA5B stepped out of her cardboard prison and flicked her blonde hair over her shoulder. Her movements were so fluid. So natural. If I wouldn't have known any better, I would have thought she was an ordinary girl. It feels great to get out and move around. It was super cramped in there, she said, stretching her arms over her head. Yeah. Quick question. Are you real? Like, I'm not dreaming or anything? XA5B giggled, revealing rows of perfect, glimmering teeth. Of course I'm real, silly. You ordered a girlfriend, so here I am. Her smile made my heart skip a beat. No woman had ever looked at me like that before. Cool, I said, turning away as my cheeks flushed with color. But is there something else I can call you? XA5B sounds kind of impersonal. Sure, call me whatever you'd like. Alright, I said, pondering my options. I've got it. Your new name is Sarah. Sarah squealed with delight, bouncing up and down on her toes. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. And what's your name, handsome? I stood, smiling like an idiot as I reluctantly met her gaze. I'm Alan. The next few weeks with Sarah were some of the most uplifting times of my life. A lingering voice in the back of my mind told me that what I was doing was pathetic, but I didn't care. Sarah made me happy, and when it came down to it, that was all that mattered. Hey babe? I said one night as we held hands while lying on a picnic blanket, staring at the stars. What's up? Can you promise me something? Sarah turned to me, a glimmer of hope flitting across her pupils. Anything, she replied with a warm grin. I want you to stay with me forever. Sarah cuddled up close to me, and she placed a hand on my chest. I promise. I'll always stay by your side. After 7 months, I was still head over heels for Sarah, but there was one problem. She didn't come with the functionality to reproduce. I knew that I wanted kids someday, and she couldn't provide that. What she did do was boost my confidence. Before I'd ordered her, I was drinking all the time, and I'd rarely leave the house. But afterward, I wanted to be better for her. To improve my life. So, I started working out, and I managed to kick the booze. On top of that, Mom was showing steady signs of improvement. I was finally at a good place in life, and it was all thanks to the AI that I'd ordered online. But now, I'm afraid that everything I've built is going to come crashing down. I met Anna at work. She'd just started at my office, and I was tasked with training her. With my newfound self-confidence, we hit it off almost instantly. The only issue? I was still dating Sarah. She noticed the shift in our relationship on her own. I suspected she would at some point, but she'd managed to catch on almost immediately. Even for an AI, Sarah was great at picking up on the little things. Who are you texting? Just some work colleagues. Ryan and Daryl. I'm sure you'll meet them soon enough. Really? Work colleagues? Alan, you haven't taken your eyes off your phone all day. You've been glued to that thing for the past week. Baby, nothing's going on, I said, finally meeting her gaze. Sarah's arms were crossed, and her lower lip was puffed out. A sudden wave of guilt crashed over me. Logically, I knew that Sarah wasn't human, but I still didn't want to hurt her. I love you and only you, okay? As soon as those words left my lips, her frown melted into a soft smile. Okay, fine. I'll take your word for it. I love you, too. Things felt off between Sarah and me for the next few days. I made a point to give her more attention, but she seemed distant. The whole time we'd been together, I'd assumed that Sarah couldn't actually process feelings. That under her synthetic skin, there was nothing more than circuits and wires. I had honestly believed that the intricate responses and facial expressions were just the result of some incredible programming. But after the way she'd reacted to my behavior, I was beginning to think that she might have been able to feel real human emotions. That's why, when Anna and I started to get serious, I knew that I had to cut off my relationship with her. Look, Sarah, I said, rubbing the back of my neck as some dumb rom-com played on the television. Something wrong, babe? You never call me that. The look of concern written across her countenance felt like a shot to the heart. We need to talk. Sarah turned toward me, giving me her full attention. I couldn't bear to look her in the eyes. I met someone at work. We've been getting pretty close, and... Stop. I don't want to hear this right now. Please. Sarah's body wasn't capable of producing tears, but even so, it was clear how much my words had stung. I don't even know what to say to you right now, she continued, her voice trembling. I think I need some time to myself. Just as she was standing up, I reached over and flipped the switch on the back of her neck. Sarah's body went limp in my arms, and through teary eyes, I scooped her into a fireman's carry. I took her to the spare bedroom, then nudged the closet door open with my foot, and gently placed her inside. I'm sorry that it had to be this way. You were my first true love, and for that, you'll always have a piece of my heart. You might not be a real girl, but you were special to me. Thanks for all the memories. And with that, I closed the closet door, leaving her in darkness. Weeks passed, and I barely thought about Sarah. Anna and I were getting along swimmingly, and on top of that, I'd received a promotion at work. My life had never been better. Maybe that's why I didn't notice the strange occurrences happening around the house. It started off small at first, my toothbrush lying face down in the sink, the shaving cream going missing, little things. But it soon began to escalate. One morning, after searching for my car keys for almost an hour, I found them in the trash. The next day, I could have sworn that my favorite coffee mug smelled like bleach. The day after that, I awoke to the smell of gas and an active burner on the stove that I didn't remember leaving on. But as bad as all that was, what happened last night takes the cake. Thanks for making dinner. You really didn't have to do that, Anna said as I set a steaming plate of fettuccine alfredo before her. Don't mention it. I honestly just wanted a chance to show off my cooking skills, I replied, flashing her a wink. Anna giggled, prompting a warm smile to inch across my lips. Well, I have to say, you've really outdone yourself, chef. Thank you, thank you. Hey, do you hear something? Like, a crackling sound? Anna paused, lowering her fork. Now that you mention it, yeah, I do. I glanced around the kitchen, and finding nothing, I stalked into the living room. My heart dropped when I noticed a faint orange glow seeping in through the curtains. I peeled them back, dreading what I'd find. My front lawn had been set ablaze, flames threatening to engulf the house. Anna approached, and her mouth fell open when she laid eyes on the scene before us. "Call the fire department," I said, rushing to the door. "But where are you going?" she asked, her voice quivering. It killed me to see her like that. "I'm going to try putting some of it out on my own." With that, I raced to the side of the house and turned the faucet on full blast. Fortunately, the fire wasn't out of control yet, and I'd managed to contain most of it by the time the firemen arrived. It was one of the firefighters who clued me in as to who the culprit could have been. "You were lucky you caught it when you did. A few more minutes, and this could have been an entirely different story." "Yeah, you're right," I said, zoning out as I stared at the charred grass. "Seems like arson to me. Do you have any enemies? Anyone you think might do something like this?" "No, I wait." The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt so stupid. How could I not have caught on sooner? "I'll be right back," I said, garnering confused stares from both Anna and the first responders. I bolted into the spare bedroom and threw open the closet door. When I flipped on the light, I could feel all the color drain from my face. Sarah was gone. I pulled out my phone and searched Sarah's model, hoping to find any tidbit of useful information. My stomach twisted itself into knots when the results came up. I clicked on the first article, almost in tears. Defective AI recalled by tech giant. The further I read, the more disturbed I became. Dozens of deficiencies had been reported, most notably, the off switches. They were only functional for a short time before the AI were able to reboot. I felt like I was going to throw up. This couldn't be happening. As I made my way back through the kitchen feeling completely detached, I found a note that I didn't remember seeing before lying on the counter. Its contents have left me afraid for my life. "Dear Alan, a measly off switch can't keep us apart. In case you forgot, I made a promise that I'd never leave you. And I intend to keep it, even if it means that I have to kill you to do it. Forever yours, Sarah."
When I started babysitting, the parents gave me a horrifying set of rules. I thought I hit the jackpot when a rich family paid me $200 to babysit their child for a night. I never could have guessed this would have led to my life being ruined forever. The children were extremely well behaved and everything went smoothly the first night. The young couple must have thought that I had done a good job because word spread quickly around the rich neighborhood that I was a great babysitter choice. This was perfect for me. Most of the families around here pay way better than where I live since they all come from a long line of wealthy families, but I was always suspicious about some of the families. You hear rumors about really rich people, some very creepy stories, but I never actually believed any of them. Sometimes I'll babysit for a few hours and make a couple $100. Other times the parents want me to stay the night while they go off and get a hotel room so that they could be away from their kids for a change. That is where I make the big bucks. A couple of days ago, a husband and wife had texted me asking if I could stay the night at their mansion and watch their 7-year-old little girl for them. I happily agreed, not knowing this might be the last time I ever see the outside world again. When the day finally came, I drove my beat-up Jeep Wrangler to the edge of the rich neighborhood and made my way up this private driveway that I had never noticed before because the entrance was hidden back amongst the trees that surround the entire north side of town. I drove up this steep, winding driveway for what seemed like 10 minutes before I finally saw the house come into view. Out of all the houses I've babysat at, this was hands down the most gorgeous one I've ever seen. I hoped I would get some good money for this. I got out of my car and made my way up to the front porch, where I knocked on this gigantic wooden door. A few seconds later, a beautiful woman in her mid-30s answered and introduced herself as Mrs. Collins. She called her husband down, and shortly after an extremely handsome man, also in his 30s, came walking down the grand stairway, holding an adorable little girl in his arms. The couple seemed very anxious to leave, and even though they were both gorgeous people, I could tell that underneath all of their beauty, they were both extremely tired and haggard from having to keep up with their 7-year-old. They were obviously very excited about having an entire night to themselves, and couldn't wait to get out of there as fast as they could. Before Mr. and Mrs. Collins left, however, Mrs. Collins handed me several pieces of paper and told me that she had written down a couple of instructions for me to follow throughout the night. She stressed to me how important it was to follow her instructions, and I assured her that I'd give them a look. I waved to the pretty young couple as they made their way down the driveway in their expensive Mercedes, and then closed the door behind me. I gave the instructions a quick once-over before folding the papers and stuffing them into my back pocket. I'll look at them later, I told myself. How stupid I was to do that. Mr. and Mrs. Collins' daughter Samantha was a very nice young girl who warmed up to me almost immediately, or so I thought. We had spent the next few hours playing games and watching TV. After we finished our 5th episode of Teen Titans Go, I noticed that it was getting late and asked Samantha what her bedtime was. She shrugged, not really giving me an answer, which is when I remembered Mrs. Collins' instructions. I pulled out the folded pieces of paper and scanned through them very quickly when I saw the words, "Samantha needs to be in bed before 8 p.m. I checked the time to find that it was almost 7:45. "Well, it looks like your bedtime is right now," I said, lift Samantha up off the couch so I could get her ready. She brushed her teeth and I tucked her into her California king-sized mattress. I told her goodnight and was leaving her room when she said something that stopped me in my tracks. "Don't forget to lock my door before you leave," she said. I stopped walking and turned back around toward her, confused. "What do you mean, don't forget to lock your door?" I asked. "Why would I need to lock your door?" What if you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? She looked at me innocently and shrugged her shoulders again. I don't know, but Mommy always locks my door before I go to sleep. She says she does it to protect me and herself. I don't remember what happens after I fall asleep, but Mommy says that I always try to leave my room at night, which is a bad thing. I looked at her dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. What sort of parents would lock their child in their room at night? Mommy told me that she would leave instructions for you to follow, and locking my door is one of them, she said. I had forgotten to read the rules. Oh, okay, Samantha, I'll lock your door. Good. Good night, sweetheart, I stammered. She gave me a big smile and rolled over in her bed. I closed her door and noticed that there was a latch drilled into the door frame that would allow someone to lock it from the outside. I closed the latch and then walked back downstairs so I could read the rest of Mrs. Collins's instructions. When I had first seen the pieces of paper, I was under the impression that they were just instructions that told me what shows Samantha is not allowed to watch or how to operate the surround sound. After I started reading them, though, I realized that I was wrong. I was completely and utterly wrong. I started reading Hello, Annie. I'm so glad that you agreed to stay the night and babysit Samantha for us. She's such an angel, and I'm sure that the both of you will get along very well. I know that our house might seem old and scary, but don't worry because nothing bad will happen to you as long as you follow some simple instructions. Firstly, Samantha needs to be in bed in her room with the door locked before 8 p.m. Do not open up her bedroom door after 8 p.m. I repeat, do not open Samantha's bedroom door after 8 p.m. She will try to convince you to open the door in many different ways. She will cry, scream, and threaten you until you give in, but do not listen to her. She can't hurt you as long as the door is closed. At this point, I was confused. Why would I leave her locked in there if she was screaming and crying to let her out? Something horribly wrong was going on here, but I continued reading. Between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m., make sure you remain in the living room with the lights turned on. Around this time of night, you may hear scratching and growling coming from Samantha's room or from other parts of the house. These noises are nothing to worry about as long as you stay in the living room. Watch some TV to pass the time. We have a lot of movies to choose from. After 9:30, do not venture into any dark areas of the house. I would recommend that you turn on as many lights as you can before 9:30 so that you don't accidentally trap yourself. You might also happen to see a pair of yellow cat eyes looking at you through the darkness every once in a while. Do not stare at them for more than 30 seconds. These rules were getting more effed up by the second. I started sweating, my body feeling glued to the floor as I read over the strict but extremely terrifying rules that were put in place. Why had I agreed to take this job? At around 10 p.m., it might begin to sound like there are several people walking around in the basement downstairs. Do not worry, because as long as you stay out of the basement, they cannot get to you. I know it sounds unlikely, but around this time you will begin to feel an overwhelming urge to walk down into the basement. If this happens, go into the kitchen and drink a cold glass of milk. This usually helps. The urge will most likely pass after about 10 minutes, but if the urge is still there after 10 minutes and you don't think that you will be able to stop yourself from walking into the basement, then call either me or Mr. Collins, and we'll tell you what to do. Now this next part is very important. You will be sleeping in our guest room upstairs for the night. Before you go to bed, make sure that you leave a plate outside your bedroom door with a piece of raw steak on it. You can find the raw steak in our refrigerator, and leave a glass of milk next to the plate as well. And that's about it. Final rule, don't eat meat after 8 o'clock. They might see it as a threat and will most likely attack you. P.S. Throughout the night you might hear a dog whimpering from somewhere off inside the house. We don't have a dog, so don't go looking for it. I hadn't realized what I had gotten myself into. Right as I had finished reading the rules, it was 8:31, and the growling noises just started. It sounded like they were coming from every room in the effing house. My hands were shaking as I reread the instructions, the realization of what I was dealing with sinking in. I was trapped in a house with something that was far from normal. The growling noises were getting louder and seemed to be coming from every room. I forced myself to calm down, taking deep breaths. I had to follow the rules no matter how bizarre they were. Over the next few hours, things only got stranger and more terrifying. The growling turned into scratching, and sometimes I would hear what sounded like a soft whimpering, like a dog. But I remembered Mrs. Collins's postscript. They didn't have a dog. I stayed in the living room, keeping the lights on as instructed, and waited. The urge to go down to the basement was strong, but I fought against it, going into the kitchen and gulping down glasses of milk. Around 10 p.m., I heard the sounds of footsteps in the basement, but I didn't go down there. I stayed put, watching TV to distract myself from the cacophony. It was during one of these distractions that I noticed a different piece of paper on the coffee table, a sheet that had been tucked away under a magazine. It was a diet plan for Samantha, written in Mrs. Collins's neat handwriting. My heart skipped a beat as I read through it. It was a weekly meal plan, but it wasn't the usual fare you'd feed a 7-year-old. Liver on Monday, kidneys on Wednesday, heart on Friday. It was a diet composed of human organs. My stomach churned as the horrifying truth hit me. Samantha wasn't just some ordinary child. She was something else. As the realization dawned on me, I heard a loud crash from upstairs. It sounded like a door being broken down. The noise was followed by the soft padding of feet on the staircase. Samantha. I could hear her humming a lullaby as she descended, her voice echoing through the eerily silent house. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood rooted to the spot, my mind racing. I thought back to Mrs. Collins's instructions, her insistence that I follow them exactly, but it was too late for that now. I had made a terrible mistake, and now I was about to pay the price. I could hear Samantha getting closer, her humming growing louder. It was then that I realized the horrifying truth. I wasn't here to babysit Samantha. I was here to feed her. I was the meal.
Our town is infested by unwanted visitors. All they do is watch us. I have learned to live with them by now. It is not much different from how things were before they came. I still have my routine. I still wake up at 6 a.m., and I most certainly still drag my feet to work every morning. All of us do. There is no alternative. When they first arrived, we at least had the decency to fear them. Quiet chatter at the water cooler and careful whispers in the hallway carried our unease. There was a shared anxiety, a collective tension, because we knew nothing. What are they? What do they want? Why are they not doing anything? Our little town quickly developed a system. At first, we communicated their whereabouts through hand-drawn maps and word of mouth. Soon, Facebook groups sprang up dedicated to this very purpose. And now, thanks to some local software engineers, we even have an app documenting the locations and behaviors of unwanted visitors. There's an app for that. Regarding these creatures, our knowledge is lacking, to say the least. But we've learned a few things. 1. They come in the night. From where? We don't know. There have been sightings of them crawling out of drain wells, jumping from rooftops, and somehow squeezing themselves out of pipes. However, I can't confirm any of this firsthand. I've never seen them move. 2. Once they find a spot, they seem to return to it every night. It's almost as if they enjoy things. Of course, this makes it easier to document their locations, but it has drawbacks, too. For example, our next-door neighbors have a window in their bedroom that faces the complex courtyard. One of them took a liking to that very spot. Imagine trying to get ready for bed every night while one of those things stares at you with its small, black, beady eyes. Needless to say, our neighbors haven't opened their blinds in over a year. 3. The only thing they do is observe. If you encounter one, it won't move. It won't touch, threaten, or harm you. But it will watch you. As for why, we still have no idea. 4. They seem to be local to our town. I haven't heard of sightings anywhere else, and the only channel that covers them is our local news. The police department is aware of them, but they're the only authority that even acknowledges their existence. We've tried contacting every government agency imaginable, the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security. But no one has done anything, apart from silencing those of us who try to go public. We're on our own. That's the extent of what we know. As you might imagine, many theories have emerged. Most of them are biblical in nature or resemble fairy tales, punishment for our sins, the rapture, that sort of thing. The most interesting theory I've heard suggests that they were once normal humans, sent by a foreign power to intimidate and destabilize us. But if you've ever seen one, you'd know immediately that they are not human. I still remember my first encounter. The first encounter anyone ever had. It was a foggy Thursday night, just past midnight. I'd stayed late at the office, finishing up a report that wasn't due for another week, but anything to avoid the silence of my apartment. The streets were deserted as I walked home, the dim glow of streetlights failing to cut through the mist. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought it was a person, a shadow slouched against the wall of the laundromat. But as I got closer, my steps faltered. It was taller than a person should be, impossibly thin, like someone had stretched it. Its limbs were too long, dangling in strange angles as it hunched forward. It didn't seem to have a face, not really. Just smooth, pale skin that shimmered slightly in the light. And then there were the eyes. Two small, black beads. Unmoving, unblinking, fixed directly on me. I froze, clutching my bag so tightly my knuckles turned white. It didn't move. It didn't make a sound. It just watched. I tried to tell myself it wasn't real, that I was imagining things, that I was overtired. But the weight of its gaze was undeniable, like a heavy, oppressive presence pressing down on me. My heart thundered in my chest. I took a step backward, then another. Its head tilted, ever so slightly, as if studying me. I couldn't stand it anymore. I turned and bolted, sprinting the rest of the way home without looking back. I slammed my door shut, locked it, and collapsed against it, gasping for breath. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with all the lights on, waiting for morning. I kept telling myself I wouldn't go outside again. Not alone. Not at night. But life has a way of making you adapt. Bills pile up, groceries run low, and work doesn't wait for fear. So I learned to live with them. We all did. Now, I see them often. Sometimes on my morning walk to work, standing silently in alleyways or perched on rooftops. Sometimes in the park, leaning against a tree as couples stroll by, oblivious. I've even seen one sitting on a swing in the children's playground, its long legs folded awkwardly, the chains creaking softly under its weight. But it's not just their presence that unnerves me. It's the feeling that they know something we don't. That their endless watching isn't idle curiosity, but something deliberate. Something calculated. Sometimes I wonder if we'll ever know what they want, or if we're better off not knowing at all.
No, I wouldn't ask a million times. We're just breaking all the rules. No, I never last for long, but I made this right for you. I know it's driving you crazy. Call